Okay, today we're going to take a quick look at how we can clone amplifiers using some software, and to then be able to put these amplifiers into digital processors, including Mako Mini Distortion or Mako Distortion 2. But you could also try to put these in like a helix, since you can run multiple IRs and things like that. But basically, we're going to try to make an IR of the input frequency response of the amplifier, and that will give us like the bulk of the sound of the amplifier. So we're going to need some software. So first, we're going to use Room EQ Wizard. Totally amazing software. Lets us do some frequency sweeps of things and then do some math on them. This is like the most critical piece. And Room EQ Wizard is going to create a wave file, and then we might want to edit that wave file. In fact, we will definitely want to edit that wave file. So then we're going to switch into Goldwave Audio Editor. Both of these softwares are downloadable from the internet and are reasonably cheap or free. And I would definitely buy or give money to both of these companies, since this is incredible software. So to start off, to try to keep our setup simple, we're going to try to use a Kemper, and we're going to try to clone a little amplifier frequency response out of the Kemper. So on this one, we've selected the 1971 Mars Golub. It's kind of like a standard on the Kemper. We have that, and it's all set up to hooked up to our sound card. And next, we're going to start Room EQ Wizard. And if we go to Preferences, we can set up our output device. So we're going to output a signal out of the sound card into the Kemper, and then out of the Kemper, and then back into the sound card. You can do this with an amplifier. You would want to use like a microphone, or if you have a DI, etc. So basically, you're just going to loop out of the sound card and then back into the sound card. For simplicity, we're using a Kemper. Then you want to go into Measurements. And from here, I like to hit Check Levels, make sure everything's working. We have Signal, so we can see over here we have Signal. Level says OK. So we're going to want to do two sweeps. So our first sweep, we're going to do at minus 40 dB of full scale. So let's go ahead and run that sweep. And we're starting to see some signal, and there it is. So with this low input signal into the Kemper, we're never going to really push into the distortion stage. So we're going to see the full frequency response of the input, and of course we're going to see the output and everything else. So next, what we want to do is switch over to what I would call the 0 dB. For safety, I like to give myself a little headroom, so I might go minus 3 dB. We're going to sweep that. Now this is going to drive the distortion stage into full distortion. And what this does then is it eliminates the input frequency response. You can see that we're heavily distorted. Room EQ Wizard is telling us we're distorted, so we're going to hit OK. So now we have two sweeps, and we can see now that our 0 dB sweep has less bass, and our minus 40 dB, well, that's backwards. Minus 40 is here, 0 dB is up here. So you can see that there's a difference between these things. So now we're going to go over to Actions and go find the dialog box, hit Trace Arithmetic, and then go find the dialog box. Hopefully this works. We're going to have our minus 40 up here, and our 0 dB here. We're going to divide A and B, and then we hit Generate. We can usually close all of this out, so you can see we've generated a fresh trace over here. If we go to SPL and phase, hello, there we go. You can see that as our amplifier is rolling off on the high end, we start getting into noise. So we're going to want to chop all this off, but we will do that in Goldwave next. So right now, all we want to do is export this, export impulse response as a wave file, normalize, place T0 here, and OK, give it a name. Okay, now we're ready for Goldwave. So let's open that IR up, and you can see there's a lot of hair on it, a lot of noise, and that's all because of that high frequency noise. We're going to get rid of that. First, we need to find where our IR is. Oh, here it is. We're going to go like so, get the front end of this thing, and we're going to delete that garbage off. And we're going to get all, and we usually want somewhere around 60 milliseconds data here. I'm going to hit trim. Okay, now we can start working with this thing. You could leave it like this, but you'll have that weird high frequency noise in there. It may or may not sound good, but to be safe, I want to go in and chop it off. 7,000, the good number. And we're going to go to a steepness of 1. Okay, boom, all that noise is gone. Now we want to normalize our signal, make it as loud as possible, and then hit save. So there you go. We just cloned the front end of that amplifier. Now we'll pull it into Mako Mini Distortion and give it a test. Okay, our first step is to try to get this amplifier into our database. So we're going to go into Define Amplifiers, find a good spot. Let's pick 142, click on here, and now we got to go find it. Amplifiers, Golub 2. All right, so now it's in there. The first time you do an amplifier, you might want to set the EQ to pre-amplifier EQ. And let's go medium gain on it. Let's see what that gets us. Go back into amplifiers, see if we can find it. And there it is, 142. Not too bad. So that sounds pretty good. We really don't have to do too much to it. If we wanted to dial it in some, we could pick some EQs. Say we wanted to thicken it up a little bit, we might want to push up like 400 hertz. Then, of course, we could go back into Gold Wave and we could modify the IR, give it a 400 hertz boost right in there. And of course, you can always just use the EQs right in Mako Mini Distortion and never touch this thing, but you really want to dial it in or even make a new amplifier that doesn't even exist, go into Gold Wave, do some frequency adjustments to it, you're good to go.